君の青春を鍛える。それがジャスティス学園よ。
この学園には青春のすべてが詰まっている。
燃えなさい。
はい。青春まっしぐら私立ジャスティス学園。
タプコン。
All right. Hey, everybody. Let's get the exchange rate up there because your wallets are about to cry. Because I'm in Super Potato and Akiba, and we're looking exclusively at the rarified air in the glass cases. Starting with some very cool Famicom stuff. Things like Holy Diver, Lickle, Kage, Ghostbuster, or New Ghostbusters 2, excuse me. A personal favorite of mine. Love that game. Even some of these gold Famicom cartridges, which luckily are not actually made out of gold, but they're a little bit pricey for those. But we're gonna see stuff that costs hundreds of dollars, even thousands of dollars in some instances. We've got some box stuff here, cool stuff too, like 1943 and Rockman 2, Lolo. Contra boxed, very nice. A lot of this stuff is in really good condition too, which is like amazing. Kind of surprising that games as old as this could be kept in such pristine condition. Obviously, somebody really loved them. We got Metal Storm here, another favorite of mine. That's over 25,000 yen, which is over 200 bucks for a box copy of that. As well as some Double Dragon, some Daiku no Ginsan 2, the Hammer and Harry sequel. And the cartridge version of the original Castlevania Akumajo Dracula, surprisingly expensive game. Much less so on the Famicom disk system, though. As we got some Akumajo Densetsu and Crisis Force. That's a great game, but wowzers, is it expensive if you pick it up boxed? It's over 300 doll hairs. And there's a Summer Carnival '92 Rekka. Get ready to spend a lot of money on that. And then Batman Return of the Joker. Surprisingly expensive as well. It's not one I come across very much, though. So I guess it's understandable. It's a little bit more rare, as we're looking at some box Super Famicom stuff, including a factory-sealed Link to the Past. That's over 700 doll hairs. It's quite expensive. We've got some really cool stuff here, like R-Type 3, and Axley, ActRaiser 2, Dracula X, Alien vs. Predator, or Aliens vs. Predator. And for just under 90 bucks, a box copy of X-Men Mutant Apocalypse, which is actually one of my favorite games on the console. Always love that game. We got some great battle for 8888. Nice round number. We got King of Dragons, Psycho Dream, Cotton 100% Shaku%, which is about a $100 game. And it's nice that when we look on the spines of these things, you can see these little white stickers with stuff written on them in red. That's telling you a bit about the actual condition of the game, the box, the manual, etc. So if they have, they'll have multiple copies of some of these games, and the condition varies. So for some games, some damage to the manual or to the box, I mean, that can mean the difference between like 300 bucks and like, 200 or like 220 or something. Super Aleste, boxed, probably, not probably, it is my favorite shoot 'em up on the Super Famicom. It's just under $100. Which is still pretty high. This here, a copy of Turtles in Time for less, because we're going to actually see some more copies of that, and you're going to see how expensive of a game that can be. Yeah, it's not a cheap one at all. Maybe in the area of 150 bucks here for Macross Scrambled Valkyrie, which is an amazing game, but yeah, there you go, 32,780. So around 300 bucks for one copy, just over 200 bucks for another. So again, difference in condition can mean all the difference in the price. So this is not typically like a case I shop out of, unless I'm picking something up for someone else. Someone with some deep pockets. Demons Blazing, aka Demon's Crest. Great game. Another one that's kind of pricey. Marvel Superheroes War of the Gems. The Mask, oddly enough, kind of an expensive game in Japan. And then I believe the third Rushing Beat game, also quite expensive, as Wild Guns is too. Wild Guns, that's one no matter where you are. They want an arm and a leg. This other big case here, something that, you know, I'm usually more attracted to just because as of late I've been having a lot more fun collecting for Saturn. Saturn, PC Engine, Dreamcast, things like that. But they've got stuff in there like Final Fight Revenge, which luckily I still have my copy of Final Fight Revenge. I'm hanging on to it because that's one that is just super expensive. Not the best game ever, mind you, but very expensive. KO Flying Squadron 2, Tri-Rush Depi, Battle Garega, Hyperduel. Hyperduel still about a $400 game. It has been for a while. Like, I bought my copy a couple years ago. It was the exact same price. So that one's just like sitting there at $400. Not really budging. And we got some other really great stuff in there like Pulirula, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Geki Dindon, which Geki Dindon I'm not a big fan of. I don't think it's a very good game. Crows, Neketsu Oyako, which is a great game. Just outstanding stuff. Again, some of the stuff, hundreds of dollars. Some of it not so much though, like Marvel Superheroes. It's not a terribly uncommon game. Shinryu, really great game, but not the most expensive shooter on the console, thankfully. As we look at some Mega Drive stuff, Spider-Mans, and your 007s for some reason. You know, I gotta admit, the Mega Drive, I like my Mega Drive games. I'm not the most well educated on the library though, but we've got our Battlemania Daigenjo here. That's an insanely expensive one. That's like a $900 one right there. Some copies of Pulse Man, Sailor Moon. Again, you got multiple copies of something, and they're all like $1,000 a piece. That's just, you know, exclusively expensive. And some Rockman, some Tempo, and then some Dreamcast. Some other stuff I'm really familiar with. Again, not all of this is like the rarest of things, like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and stuff like that. But you know, I guess in that condition, it's kind of pricey. But we got Zero Gunner 2, Ikaruga, Street Fighter 2X, Gunbird 2. Just some really good stuff in there. Mars Matrix, which is also great. Twinkle Star Sprites. Any shooter on the Dreamcast is always going to be a good time. More Mega Drive. Mega Drive, and Sector X, and various things like that. And then some loose Mega Drive carts, which, you know, it's fine. I don't really collect loose carts so much just because I've really tried to pare my collection down to just things I really want, and I try to keep them in as good a condition as possible. But that's not all. We go up to the next floor. Some of the stuff up here is stuff I'm not too terribly familiar with, so right now we're looking at some MSX. I've never collected for the MSX before, so I don't always really know what I'm looking at. But yeah, that's one of those things, like maybe in the future, something I could consider collecting for, because they got some cool stuff on it. I can see already there's East, there's various Konami games on it. That's all very cool. Some Dracula, Akumajo Dracula. Night City is pretty cool. Or is it Night City? What Illusion City, that's what it is. I actually have the Mega CD version of that game, and it's pretty cool. I like it quite a lot. And we got some of these PC Engine Hue cards, just loose Hue cards. Some stuff like Jackie Chan, Splatterhouse. Very cool things. And then here, in case you were ever wondering, can you find imported American games in Japanese game shops? You can. Some SNES stuff here, and Dreamcast, and what have you. And a Jaguar CD, of all things. The Jaguar, I mean, they have a box Jaguar in here that's like, I don't know how expensive. It's like $1,000 for it. And a CDX, things like that. As we continue to move right along to some PlayStation, and I think there's like some PS2 stuff right here. Things like that. Again, like PS2 is a console I've had like countless games for. Like, how many games were officially released for it? Like over 1,000 games or something. So as for what's really rare and what's super common, you got me. But we got some Neo-Geo CD here, which is preferable. We're going to see in a little bit some of the Neo-Geo AES games they have in here and the prices on those. And that'll just make you weep. But Neo-Geo CD is a console I've collected for, and then PS1 I like a lot. Then we got these old Game & Watch here. These are really cool. I'm guessing they're in working order. That's nice. Not something I collect, but just something it's kind of cool to look at and peruse. Again, you know, a shop like Super Potato you can almost treat a little bit like a museum. We got some soundtracks here. I guess some especially desirable soundtracks, because they're in this case, and some of them are quite expensive, even though there is sort of a soundtrack section that is not behind glass. But now we're moving on to this big Neo-Geo case. So there's the Neo-Geo Pocket Games. Some of those can be quite pricey, but we're looking at AES here. Some of this stuff is like thousands of... I mean, jeez. Look at this. Endrodinos, or Dunos, whatever it is. That's like $3,000. 8-man, not too expensive. Only 19,580, so that's like 170 bucks probably. Gun Lord is over $1,000, or it's roughly $1,000, which is like, you know, I have Gun Lord, I have it on my Dreamcast. Great game, I'm happy with it on the Dreamcast. And it did not cost me $1,000, I'm happy to say. But there you go. And there's other stuff, Cyberlip, and all these different King of Fighters games. Some of them, you know, they're multiple hundreds of dollars for all of them, so $500 here, $600 there. That's a lot of money for KOF, again, when you can, you know, play it on other systems for dirt cheap. But this is the kind of stuff, man, this is for those high rollers, those big timers, of which I am not. But yeah, we got our AES games in there, thousands of dollars in some instances. We got some, actually some, I think those strategy guides, some fairly desirable strategy guides. You got Neo Ninja Gaidens and things like that. Neo Drift Out, sealed, that's what, like 600, 700 bucks. Some other sealed games. I'm not a sealed game collector, so not so attractive to me. I pretty much just collect things I want to play these days. But that's about it. All kinds of games, all super expensive, but really cool to look at. So, hey, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.